Hey, JD here from Metal Riot, and today I have the amazing Brittany from Unleash the Archers. Welcome. Thank you for
Hello.
taking the time to sit and chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get right down to the nitty gritty. Because one of the things that I always find the most curious when I talk to bands is kind of their process of creating albums, especially kind of concept albums. Um, so what was the process behind this kind of, because I know you had this idea sitting in your head for a little bit. So did you kind of like find that music first and then kind of come up with the lyrics, or did you have a lot of these lyrics down and trying to find the music to fit it? Like kind of what was the process and kind of, I'm guessing it was pretty organic.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of writing lyrics first. I think that it's super important that the lyrics fit the melody, not the other way around,
All
because
right.
sometimes it can be more difficult to do it that way. So what we did actually for our last two records, Apex and Abyss, was quite a bit different than the way that we used to do it. And I like it a lot, so we'll probably continue to write this way. But so what I did was I came up with the story behind the two records, and then I wrote the story out in like a track by track overview.
All right.
So track one, aka chapter one, this is what's going on in the story. This is how I want the listener to feel. This is what I was hoping the song could sound like. This is the mood and emotional tone that should be behind everything. And I did that for every song, aka chapter of the story. And then I gave that to the boys, and they would write the riffs and come back to me and say, so, hey, I was thinking this riff for this song. And I would say either yes or no, or actually, you know what, that's probably better for this track. Why don't we kind of attach that one to this song? And then from there, we'd all work together to expand the riff into a full song. Sometimes we'd get like Andrew pretty much wrote the whole of Cleanse the Bloodlines before he even sent it to us. He had most of the song done and said, hey, I think this is really going to be what you're looking for Cleanse. And of course, the second I heard it, I was like, yep, like bang on. But then there were
It's a
other,
wicked riff.
yeah, right. I know that's what I said too. I was like, yes. But then there was others where I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't know. I don't think this really fits anywhere. Let's put it away and think about that one later, or, things like that. So Apex was both Grant and Andrew writing, and then Abyss was all Andrew's riff ideas. So yeah. And then from there, we would do, writing sessions together in the jam spot where we take what we had and kind of try and figure out, if Andy was stuck on something, be like, oh, maybe we should have a part that's kind of a little slower or more chuggy or whatever, that kind of thing after it, or try and figure out what felt right to come out of the riffs that he had if he didn't have any ideas. And once we had the general song structure down, then we would move on to writing the bass and the drums and the vocal melodies. And then the lyrics came very last. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's I love the process.
It's involved.
Yeah.
But it worked. I mean, we had a really great time, and we were constantly thinking of all the other songs that were, going to be on the record all at the same time, so that they would all have the right feeling and make sure that there was no weird abrupt moments or changes or anything that would pull you out of the story or things that just didn't feel like they fit. So we tried to make sure that the record flowed as much as possible. Even in this day and age where singles and playlists are key, we still wanted to write a record that you would, want to listen to from beginning to end. And that's how it was meant to be heard. Yeah.
That's how I consume a lot of my albums is I'm not I don't do a lot of mix tracks. It's all mixed albums is really what it is. So I'm a big consumer of concept albums too.
Yeah.
So with kind of that process, did writing that music kind of change the story at all? Did it bring up new ideas that you hadn't thought of before? Or maybe you're like, oh, maybe that doesn't quite work for the story, or
I mean, there were some points where I said, oh, that's really cool. I guess I could make this happen, that kind of thing. But for the most part, no, it was very much the music was determined by the story, which then
Okay.
was where the lyrics came from and everything like that. So it was, I tried to make it as cohesive a process as possible because I wanted us to be on the same page at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I go around changing things up, then that would just make it more difficult for the boys in the writing process. We had to be as communicative as possible and yeah, just kind of work with each other as
makes
best
sense.
as we could.
Yeah. So how long had the story of the Immortal been kind of sitting in your head?
Yeah, I mean, it was sorry, there's like a weird ticking noise over here. I really don't understand where that's coming from. Well, when we were writing Time Stands Still, the record was done, and then we got signed to Napalm, and then they held on to the record for a little bit. And so I was kind of like done with that record before it even had come out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really right around the time that Time Stands Still came out in 2015 that I had already started thinking of the next record and what I wanted it to be about and the ideas for that. So and Apex was finished and recorded by the end of 2016. So we've been working on it for a little while. Yeah, but the story really sort of just kind of came together slowly. I had the main gist of it done in 2016, but when the actual writing process for Abyss started, then I really fleshed it out. Like I was like, okay, so now I got to do the track by track for Abyss. I got to figure out all the key moments and things like that. So it was kind of over time, it did change a little bit. Yeah.
So I read that you were coming out with a graphic novel, potentially. Trying. Yeah. How's that coming along?
It's insanely difficult to find the time to sit down and write it. I just had like the craziest day today of like all trying to get all these things done, and it's basically my day constantly. So like just I need to, we're taking this next year off to write, and I'm hoping I'll be focused on the graphic novel before the next record. So I kind of have an idea for the next album. I'll hand that over to Andy and let him do his magic while I focus on the graphic novels, and then we'll go from there.
All right. So you're about to embark on your North American tour part 2. And I see you're doing 13 days, I think, straight?
Yes. Yep.
Why 13 days straight? That's crazy.
Well, because we're only going out for 13 days. So we wanted to maximize the cities that we could play. And just there wasn't, we play Wednesday. Our first show was on Wednesday. So then we would play 4 shows and then take a day off. But that's, that's normally what we do is we take Mondays off. But it just didn't make sense because then we only have a week of shows ahead of us. So it's kind of like, it's back into the days when we used to tour on our own, and we would just absolutely hammer the shows in there. It would be weeks without a day off. And like, it was just kind of, it was our idea that we need to get as many shows in there as possible. Otherwise we're not going to make enough money to get home. So, I just kind of figured that we're out for such a short time. By the time we're getting tired, it'll be time to go home.
All right. Yeah. It just sounds like a lot, pretty intense.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm not a musician, so I don't know what it's like to go out here. So
no, I mean, it is going to be intense. By the the last couple of shows are probably going to be like, I need a break, but then it'll be done. So we'll just have to enjoy every minute of it as we can.
Yeah. So I know, the dreaded C word, COVID, has messed a lot up with your plans over the last 2 years. But we're kind of curious, has there been anything positive to kind of come out of all the negatives that have come with it?
I mean, yes, there has. I can't think of anything right now, but I know I was actually just talking about it the other day where I said, well, that's a good thing. That's one of the good things about what happened to COVID is I think it was like a lot of people are realizing that you can do so much more online now than before or something. I can't really remember exactly what it was, the conversation that we were having. But I mean, the record release was really successful despite COVID. And it sucked that we couldn't hit the road and tour in support of it. But it was because everyone was, you know, locked down and couldn't go anywhere or do anything. It was, it created a lot of expectation, and a lot of people were really excited about the record. It was something to look forward to, right? Yeah. So I think it was, I don't know if it was bigger because of COVID. You know, there's never going to be a way to tell unless I can travel to that other universe where COVID didn't happen. But I feel like maybe it just made it that much more exciting and important in everyone's lives. Otherwise it would have just been another record release, right? So
I can see that.
Yeah. But there was, I can't, honestly, I'm really bothering me that I can't think of that one thing that I was like, well, hey, that's a good thing. But yeah, no, there have been some good things.
Well, you mentioned kind of that internet presence. I actually hopped onto your Discord a few weeks ago. It's just crazy.
Oh, there's one. Discord. Yeah. I don't think we would have discovered it without COVID, for sure. And Twitch too. Yeah. Yeah,
Discord and Twitch. And it's amazing. I love the community on there, and just and it's not just talking about the music. I mean, I love how music brings people together for kind of that common love.
Really
and everything else that blossoms from there, of finding those mutual interests, or just this whole new way of socializing, you know, that bands like yourselves can create. So I think that's pretty amazing.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's, I mean, that's it right there. That's the best thing to come out of COVID, for sure.
Yeah.
Is this awesome place that we've discovered. And like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are just, you know, filled with grumpy people.
To say the least.
So I'm really excited that we have Discord as a place for people to come and not have to worry about getting politics shoved in their face if they don't want to be in that channel, you know, like that kind of thing. So, I mean, we don't have a politics channel, thank goodness, because that probably would just get intense. But yeah, like, go to this place and talk to like-minded people about things that you love, and share stories and get suggestions for new stuff that you didn't even know existed. So it's just like, this is awesome place. And then Twitch is such an awesome place to keep in touch with fans and to just get to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
And, everyone's, you know, talking about it like it's this new way of musicians making income kind of a thing. Like it's better than Patreon and all that kind of thing. And I'm just looking at it as like, I get to hang out with my fans on a regular basis. You know, that's not the important part. The important part is that I get to feel like I'm sitting there talking with you all. And that's why I do it. But you know, it is definitely the future, for sure.
Yeah. I hopped on there with like Andy once and Grant once, and it was just, like you said, it was just like having this conversation and just the interaction. Mind you, your audience can only text, but just you guys do an awesome job at having that back and forth go on in this virtual space. So you guys nailed it, I think.
Thank you.
Because I've been in Discord for a few years, and I love your channel.
Yay.
And the Twitch is always fun when I can find the time to do it. So
right, yeah.
How did you discover kind of the whole Discord as this way of potentially communicating? Did that kind of just evolve organically, or were you looking for another way to kind of communicate?
Yeah, kind of. It was, again, thanks to COVID. But what happened is we went on tour with Dragon Force when COVID hit the United States, and we were down in the US. But on that tour, Herman Lee, who's pretty big on Twitch, was Twitch streaming all the time, and like Twitch live streaming the shows and just kind of like hanging out with everyone on Twitch afterwards and all that. So we thought that was really cool. We were like, "Woo, yeah, like this is what a great idea." And then COVID happened, and we were like, "Well, we're not doing anything else. Let's all get Twitch accounts." And so it was kind of like this whole, we were supposed to be there with you all in person, hanging out, partying. And we always love doing that. Like, especially if we're playing somewhere where it's an actual bar, like it'll stay open after the show and you can drink it there until 3. We love doing that and hanging out with everyone. So, you know, we didn't get that chance, and we weren't sure when that chance was going to be given back to us. So we all started streaming on Twitch, and so as a way to keep in touch with everyone and just kind of keep in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, just fell in love with it. And we learned that Discord is kind of this place where you go after Twitch. It's the place where you get to keep in touch with all the people that are there with you live when you're not live. And so we created a Discord channel just to sort of associate with that whole Twitch world that we were getting into. And now it's just turned into the place where we like to go, and all announcements on things go there first. And so it's like, yeah, it's taking over as our favorite. I wouldn't even call it like a social media platform. It's just taking over as our best place to keep in touch with fans and get to hang out with everyone. And I hope, I mean, it's my dream really one day to shut down the Facebook and never go on there ever again.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, right. I just would love that day, man, when the whole world turns off that website.
Yeah, I'm on Discord constantly all day, and I occasionally go on Facebook now just to kind of, stalk my friends and family. But Discord is where I actually socialize.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's funny because Facebook is like supposed to be this place where you go to make all your announcements and to keep everyone up to date with what you're doing, but they force you to pay to actually do that. So your post gets served to maybe 300 people.
Yep.
So it's actually not, in fact, the best place to post because no one sees it anymore because of the way that, the chokehold that they have on everything in the hopes of getting your money. And they're doing the same thing with Instagram now as well. Whatever it's called, shadow ban you or whatever. So your posts actually don't get served to anyone.
Yeah.
And they want, they want you to pay for that as well. It's not a service yet, but you know that it's coming because why else would they start doing that same thing? Strangling your content. Yep. So that's why I love Discord. I mean, I at tag everyone and everyone gets a notification.
Yeah.
It's a I'm in your notifications now. So yeah.
I also saw on your Twitch, you're playing a little bit of D&D now.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was a contest that we originally did for the Abyss album release. If you pre-ordered, you got entered into this contest to play D&D with us. And so we had 5 winners, which was a huge party our DM to have to deal with. But so we did two sessions. I turned Abyss into like a little mini adventure kind of a thing. So we got to join the Immortal and the Grandson on their adventure through space. And we just loved it. So our DM was like, hey, you guys want to make this like a regular thing? And we were like, absolutely. So probably once a month, we'll do a little D&D session on the band Twitch channel every once in a while. Yeah, it's super exciting.
I didn't get
and that was my first time playing, so it's really good.
Yeah, because I saw you had an interview with the Charismatic Voice, and I know one of the questions that they asked was, if you've played D&D, because you're such an outwardly admitting nerd. And I was really surprised that you hadn't played D&D yet, because it just seemed like such a natural fit. So I thought it was pretty awesome that you finally got to play.
I know, so excited for that to be a part of our lives.
Yeah. Well, and I know too, like in that interview, you talked about, being a nerd, and like Glenn Cook's Black Company was one of the inspirations for you. And on one of your track by track, I think it was for Apex, I saw you had the whole Glenn Cook Black Company sitting behind you, and I was like, oh yes. And then down a little corner, I saw Dan Simmons Hyperion Cantos.
Yeah.
And I freaked out because he is one of my all-time favorite authors. And I just had to tell you that I'm a huge book nerd. And
oh, dude. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing that on your bookshelf, like, because I don't know a lot of people that even know who Dan Simmons is, much less, familiar with. Yeah. I'm not hanging out in the right circles, apparently.
Yeah. Right. Well, Discord, most of them seem to know about it.
I actually brought that up.
I find he's kind of like one of the most important science fiction authors of his time. The Hyperion books were like groundbreaking.
Oh yeah, like I thought so. He, again, I don't want to say emulate, but he's inspired a lot of my writing. Like I wrote a lot of fantasy until I discovered Dan, and all of a sudden I'm starting to write sci-fi. Like, okay, I guess I'm a sci-fi writer. Um,
Dude, so good. That's why I like to combine them both. Like,
yes,
yes, science fiction and fantasy into one.
I know, and that's like when it going from Apex to Abyss. I was like, are they in space now? Like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet.
Yeah, dude.
Um, yeah, and Dan Simmons is responsible for my just infatuation with like quantum physics and just how
Nice.
he made it very accessible to
Hmm.
the layman.
Have Have you ever read Alistair Reynolds?
I have not.
Oh, if you want quantum physics, more like, yeah, astrophysics, just all of the physics in layman's accessible terms, and but still totally in line with today's standards of what we can do or cannot do when it comes
Ooh,
to quantum mechanics. Alistair Reynolds is your guy because he is an astrophysicist who also happens to write science fiction. And
I'm
his
going
stuff is
to.
rad. And he's got many books, but I'd start with Revelation Space. It's like a trilogy of three kind of main parts of the universe that he's
All right.
created, but super rad.
I think I discovered my Christmas gift to
Yeah,
myself. To
nice.
myself.
Yeah, I love those. Those are the best ones.
Yes, I know. Um,
Sorry, Mom.
I know we're kind of getting towards the end of it. Do you have a few more minutes to answer just some really random questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is something I like to do because it really kind of gets to know you. So, um, what would your superpower be if you could have one?
Flight.
Flights? That was quick. You thought about this,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yep, that's the one I'd pick. No question about it, for sure.
Why
I could
flight?
just take off in space.
That
Because
would be
I
pretty
don't,
awesome.
I'm not, I don't like walking.
There you go.
I'm like,
Simple.
if I could just take off and land where I need to go, oh man, I'd get so much done.
I usually have that thought when I'm in traffic. I'm like, I wish my car could just fly right
Yeah,
now.
right.
Like, how come we're not in Back to the Future yet?
Right. Actually, I probably wouldn't get anything done. I'd just be too busy doing loop-de-loops around the clouds and stuff, and kind of chilling out and soaring through space. It would be amazing.
That would be pretty
But
sweet.
yeah, definitely. I dream a lot about flying. So
Nice. Um, so what do you think the closest thing to real magic is?
science.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, like anything, like the whole quantum world to me is incredible. Quantum entanglement and like the double slit experiment and the collapsing of the wave, what is it, the wave function, um anything, all that, how a particle could possibly be in two places at
Places at
once,
once.
and like all that. I love reading about that. I love reading like physics for the layman kind of books, and
Yep.
like I've literally got Neil deGrasse Tyson's letters.
Nice.
That, what's it called? Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, and letters to the one where he replies to everyone's letters that have been written to him and stuff. I love stuff like that. I'm constantly reading anything that I can get my hands on when I have the time.
Are you familiar
And
with sorry.
yeah.
You're
No,
familiar with
sure.
Michio Kaku?
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
a theoretical physicist.
Yes.
So he talks about what could be, and he's not so much about the practical. So I'm not a huge fan of
Difficult.
theoretical
Okay.
because I feel like it's kind of more just pondering the what ifs, and do we have the foundation to create this technology, and kind of hypothesizing from there. I mean, it's really cool and stuff, but I like the
Yeah, a
experimental,
little more grounded.
figure
Yeah.
it out. I love the colliders and all that, learning about all that stuff. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Last question. So, who would be your top 5 living celebrities that you would like to sit down and have a drink with?
Oh wow. Oh, that's hard. Well, Bruce Dickinson, obviously,
Yes.
because he's a history nerd like me.
Mhm.
So I think we'd have a lot to talk about. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Who else seems really cool? Uh, I don't know. That's hard.
That's a tough one. It's a
Totally.
question I think a lot about. I don't know why.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Apparently, I like my beer a lot, and I'm always like, who would like to have a beer with right now?
Who would I totally sit down and have a beer with? Yeah. Um, maybe like a director like Denis Villeneuve or
Hmm.
not Spielberg, but I mean maybe. I guess I could pick his brain a little bit too, but um what's his name? Oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. He did Aliens, Prometheus.
Oh,
Um,
brain fart now.
I know.
My my friend Jason would be so disappointed in me right now. Oh, Scott. Isn't Scott his last name?
Hold on.
Yeah, time for
Ridley
the Googles.
Scott, yes.
Ridley Scott.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one. Yes.
That would be a good one.
Or Christopher Nolan, like just any of the really cool, the ones that do really cool stuff visually and just kind of, you can tell that they have a lot behind everything creatively.
Oh yeah, very cerebral films. A lot more going on beneath the surface than create whole new worlds.
True visionaries. Yeah,
yes,
for sure. I think one of them would be cool too. I know this is weird, but The Rock, he seems really nice.
I would love to sit down with Mr. Johnson. That would be
right.
Yeah, it was just, he does. He seems like such a down to earth dude, and he could just talk about pretty much anything, and it would just seem very natural and organic kind of conversation. That's a good one. Not that the other ones weren't good, but I
think it'd be fun. I don't know. That's really it, I guess. I've always wanted to meet Cate Blanchett, but I don't know if she. I just love her acting. I mean, I'd probably just annoy the shit out of her. And be like, what's your process? Like, do you consider yourself a method actor? Like, I just annoy them. It wouldn't so much be like, I feel like with the others, I'd want to have like a true back and forth conversation, and I might have something to say, something to input into the conversation. But with her, I would just be like, I think that's probably it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't know you too much like like you might do with Cate Blanchett.
No, it's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And I will actually see you next Thursday in Milwaukee.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be pretty awesome. Yeah. And me and some of the fellow Discorders have a gift for you all. So looking forward to giving that to you guys. I love that. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Again, thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Bye now.